Access to water is not the region's only big concern. As the population of the planet is on track to eventually reach 8 billion people, one question is pressing. How do we feed them all? For some, the answer is in the seeds.
It's these seeds that are really the sustain of so many people. I mean, we eat at breakfast, at lunch, and even dinner. And we don't know sometimes where our food comes from. Last century, the whole humanity started to homogenize the diet.
Weakened crop diversity and unsustainable food production methods threaten food security. Now, new technologies are used to reverse the effects of monoculture brought on by the Green Revolution. Biologist Marcela Santaella says it's important to go back to the root cause of our problems, or actually, the seeds.
That is a challenge because diversity within those crops are also diminishing because of these improved varieties or improved seeds, and then the traditional or the land races that were originally used by farmers are no longer used. That's when, or where the gene banks really, the purpose of the gene banks is important, because we try to conserve as much land races and as much original varieties as possible, because farmers in their respective fields, if they do not crop them or they don't grow them in the fields, then the seeds will die at a certain point.
Santaella works in the world's biggest tropical seed bank located in Cali, Colombia. Seeds of the Future is a huge repository of a rich variety of seeds. It can hold up to 250,000 of them.
Here at the gene bank, we do not conserve genetic transformed or modified seeds. What we hold here is the diversity that is the result from selection of nature, or also farmers in decades or centuries before. And therefore, we conserve the whole diversity or agrobiodiversity within the seeds.
The tens of thousands of tropical varieties here come from more than 100 countries.
Of course, one seed is the new generation of a crop, but then it holds all the history of this evolution, selection, and domestication of these seeds. So gene banks with specific temperatures and drying processes try to maintain and keep these seeds alive for 50, 100, or even millions of years if possible.
Peter Wenzel is the leader of the Genetic Resources Program.
We are one of the more or less 1,000 international gene banks, and we conserve the genetic diversity underpinning particular crops. It's a sort of, let's say, a genetic insurance policy for agriculture. You can look at that in that way. We need options in terms of how plants react to climate change and can adapt to climate change. We need options to improve our crops, to make them more nutritious, to make them more resilient to pests and diseases, for example.
Another goal of the Innovation Hub is to develop improved varieties of crops through traditional plant improvement.
So we need to produce
the research
more
conducted is shared with scientists around the world for free. The crop's digital passports are online, and the seeds are shared with any farmer who wants to cultivate them.
So we need to produce more food. Ideally, not using up more land, not getting rid of more forests, but on perhaps even a somewhat shrinking supply of arable land. And we need to do that at the same time as climate change is kicking in and affecting production. And at the same time also we want to produce perhaps more diverse and more nutritious food. And for all of these purposes, we need this genetic diversity that underpins crops, the crop diversity, to make progress towards these goals. But 95% of our budget is really used to work on traditional plant breeding. What is plant breeding? Plant breeding is just pollinizing one plant with another to produce seeds that are better in some way or another. Plant breeding has been done for the last 10,000 years without knowing anything about genetics. Has been done by the original people who were domesticating wild plants and converting them into food. They were manipulating genes in a different way without knowing genetics or genes.
Darío Moreno Fajardo has cultivated beans with seeds of the future.
Me ha gustado la idea de empezar a trabajar productos biofortificados porque eso no solamente es bueno a nivel personal o humano, digámoslo así, a la hora de seguridad alimentaria, sino que también ayuda al propio cultivo en sí. Me refiero, es un cultivo, es unas semillas o un trabajo que ayuda a los cultivos a ser más resistentes a patógenos que puedan atacarlos. Entonces se tiene, digámoslo así, un doble beneficio porque sirve uno como mayor nutriente a los seres humanos que los consumimos y dos, en el momento del cultivo ayuda a que los patógenos a evitar patógenos o a controlarlos y a sacar una igual o mejor producción.
Half of the first harvest is given to the community so that they can cultivate and eat and get to know these beans, product of the research and conservation efforts conducted at Seeds of the Future.
Igual aquí nosotros trabajamos mucho la parte orgánica, o sea que eso también evitamos hacer lo máximo de la parte química y ya teniendo estos productos que son resistentes ya por genética, por manejo de la semilla, entonces hace mucho más fácil eso, mucho más práctico que no tengamos la necesidad tanta de utilizar químicos para sacar los productos casi 100% natural. Para eso nosotros un inicio de todo, en este caso la semilla es el inicio de todo. Una semilla es el inicio de algo. Ya puede ser para un ser vivo, ya sea animal, ya sea un ser humano, y todo sale de una semilla que es así de pequeña.